Good morning. Today we're going to do multi-step equations with fractions. There's actually a couple different ways you can do this. So I'm going to do number 1 and number 2 with you. And then we're going to do a couple more problems on this worksheet, but this is your homework worksheet. So the problems we're doing for the notes, you don't have to do for homework. All right, so the first method that I'm going to talk about is just isolating the x. So you might see your teacher this year do it this way. They might choose to do it another way. If I'm going to isolate the x, then that means I have to undo everything, which starts with the addition and subtraction. So I subtract 6 from both sides. So I get negative 3/4 x equals 6. And then I can multiply by the reciprocal here, or I can just multiply both sides by 4. Depends on how many steps you want to do this in. If you multiply by 4, then those would cancel, and you have negative 3x equals 24. And then you would divide both sides by negative 3, and we'd get x equals negative 8. So in that method, we are leaving the fraction, and we're just isolating the term that has the variable. Now let's go to step 2. Step 2 is the method that I prefer, and this is the method that I like the most once we get to the harder problems in the high school math classes, and that's just clearing the fraction and getting rid of it totally. To clear the fraction, you have to look at the common denominator. Well, in this problem, we only have one denominator, so 2 is our common denominator. And we are going to multiply our entire problem by that 2. What this does for you is it distributes it to all the terms, even the term that's on the other side of the equal sign. And when we distribute, 2 times 1/2, the 2's cancel, and you're just left with 1y. You do not have to write the 1 in front of the y. It's the same thing as just y. So again, 2 times 1/2 is just 1. 2 times negative 9 is negative 18. And then equals 2 times 11, which is 22. So again, when you're doing these problems, you do not have to write the 1 in front of the y, but it's not wrong if it's there. So now you just have to add 18 to both sides, and we get y equals 40. Clearing the fractions right from the get-go allow you to not have fractions in your problem anymore. Clearing the fractions is something that I really like in a problem like number 5, because if you look at number 5, we have 3 different denominators. So we have to find a common denominator between 2, 4, and 5. And that's going to be 20. So what we're going to do is clear the fractions again. This is the method that I prefer. So this is the method I would recommend you do for all the problems that you have on this worksheet. We're going to multiply the entire problem by 20. This means we have to distribute. So 20 times 1/2 is 10. The m is still there. 20 times 1/4 is 5. And 20 times 3/5, the 5 and the 20 would cancel. So we take 20 times 3/5. So let me show you what I'm saying here. The 5 and the 20 cancel, leaving you with 4 as a numerator. So then 4 times 3 is 12. So you'd get 10m plus 5 equals 12. So now we just have to solve for m. This is a 2-step equation. So we're going to subtract 5 from both sides. We get 10m equals 7. Divide both sides by 10. And m equals 7/10. So if these videos go too fast for you, then you can hit the pause button. You can watch this a couple times, because something I say the first time might be a little too fast for you, so you might need to go back and rewatch it again. Let's do one more problem. The final problem we're going to look at is number 10. When you look at number 10, there is a 1 in front of this p, and you have a 5 as a denominator and a 3 as the denominator. So our common denominator is 15. So we're going to multiply everything in this problem by 15 to clear our fractions. So 15 times 1p is 15p. 15 times negative 8/5, the 5 and the 15 cancel. And there's a 3, so that ends up giving you 15p minus 24. Then you have to do 15 times 2/3 p. And again, when you look at this, the 3 and the 5 cancel, and you take 5 times 2, and it's still negative 10p equals, then we have 15 times negative 7/5, and the 5 goes into 15 3 times, leaving us with negative 21 when we multiply those together. So you only have to work through the fractions for the very first part of the problem. After that, it's just you combining like terms and undoing to solve for the variable. So when you look at this problem, you have two terms that are called like terms with a p in them on the left side. So we're going to combine those. 15p minus 10p is 5p. Minus 24 equals negative 21. So then we can solve for p, so we're going to add 24 to both sides. And we get 5p equals 3. And we divide both sides by 5, so p equals 3 over 5. We do want to leave all of our answers as fractions. We do not want to write them as decimals right now. You're only using your calculator to multiply big numbers together. So if you're clearing a fraction and you have to multiply 19 times 81, I would want you to use your calculator. But I do not want you to simplify 3/5 into a decimal. So go ahead and finish this worksheet and submit it to Canvas.